Alright. Time to spice up the sharpness in one of these videos. Oh, he's not wearing a tie. Oh, well, that's okay. That's me. You don't need to. I just felt like I needed to. Okay, but let's get on to it. My Prayer is the latest album released by Nathan Pacheco. I don't know where the line is going to be drawn, if this is more aimed to be a classical album or a Christian-themed album. I mean, there's plenty of Christian things in it. I guess I'll go with that one. So, what about it? Well, I'm not as familiar with Nathan Pacheco. I was trying to aim to get a couple more of these kinds of reviews in this year. It's not one of my big goals. It probably is just a mental goal. But here we are now when I can say that I enjoyed listening to this album. I do have a few thoughts on it as well, but I want to preface it and say that I'm not trying to portray this as a negative. It's just a thought. So this is what I got. As a classically trained tenor male voice, there's something very intriguing about this. Me, myself, if I ever sing in a choir or a church choir, I sing in the tenor section. My voice doesn't get that low in the bass section. I can hit some bass, but anyway, this isn't about me. He has some good range. He sings very well. There are a few others I would listen to more, but this is someone who, again, I wasn't familiar with before, so getting familiarized with his music, I can say that was good. That was a good performance. I think very much that I would be more blown away in concert. So if that opportunity arises, I definitely am going to go check it out. But there were a few things that kind of stirred me just at the beginning of the album. Around the end of the album, I actually was loving it a lot. So yeah, I find it kind of funny. The very beginning of the album, not the very, very beginning, but the first half of the album, there were some disconnects I found. His voice does not sound bad at all, and the production, the arrangements, or the composition, nothing is particularly wrong, but all those things between the production aspect of it and his vocals, at times, for me, didn't feel like they connected. It felt like there were two projects that happened to be the same song going with the flow. Do I think that they were both in tune and done well? Yes. But I was a little taken back. I felt like, is there something wrong? And I can think, no, I just don't feel like they mesh well together. So you're going to hear very well vocal performances and very beautifully arranged compositions of instruments and whatever else is chosen to be put in the background. It all sounds great. It's just very odd for me. So maybe it's not for you. Maybe if you listen to this album, you're going to think everything was perfectly fine and you think I'm a weirdo. I don't know. But yeah, that was my experience. Okay, now having said that, let me talk about two of the songs that I really enjoyed. One song, Make Me a Channel of Your Peace. And Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring. This is a completely different realm. As I had mentioned before in the Tori Kelly review that I made before, I'm very picky with, if it's gospel-centered albums, or if you don't want to actually call it gospel music, but at least Christian-themed music. I am very picky about it. It's easier for me to get on board with a lot of what's put on this album lyrically. Vocally, as I said before, there was some disconnect between that and the actual music that was placed. But it all sounds very fantastic. There are times where I feel like he could reach out much higher into maybe a Josh Groban-oriented area, and he takes it down a little bit, and That's fine. At least, I like that he's showing range in this. And then there's other times where I felt like the music, I guess it never really overpowers his voice, but maybe it felt like it was in the most basketly great classical concert hall ever, and his mic was turned down or something. I felt like some of the vibes for the songs had a little disconnect, at least in the zone and the vibe, or which atmosphere it was trying to convey per song. Not as an album as a whole. As an album as a whole, I think it's perfectly good. So this is kind of a weird thing for me to try to get through, because I'm trying to recommend this album, but I'm also trying to convey some of my personal concerns, which maybe it's just the taste, because there's nothing really wrong with this, but at the same time, I am trying to get the idea that maybe this album is supposed to be bigger than I think it is, or maybe it is supposed to come down to a more grounded level. So I don't know. I don't know which way it's trying to go. Maybe it's trying to embrace a little bit of both, but I don't feel like the message was very clear. The clarity didn't hit me in all the moments in this album. But at the same time, this is something that I think could be added to your Sunday collection of music, and I think that you will have a song or two, or 3 or 4 or 5, or, however many, that you can thoroughly enjoy. So after having listened and reviewed this album, with production of 93%, creativity 86%, expression and lyrics 84%, I'm going to give this album a good. Again, I genuinely think that this was good, and I want to be able to hear what his voice really sounds like, and maybe the concert atmosphere will be a little bit different. So let's hope and pray for that. I'm interested in seeing that. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. And remember, if you want to discover, promote, and review the best in entertainment, remember to subscribe and follow all the media for this channel so you can get that yes in your life. See you next time.